Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley on this beautiful Friday. Yes, I say it's beautiful because 24 years ago this day, my firstborn came into this world. Marcellus Wiley. That's my baby right there. DJ Monkey Monk is what I call her. You guys know her from social media. She's a tremendous person. I'm not even talking from bias. I mean, she is a great person. Big heart, huge brain, and is doing her thing. She's at grad school right now, Columbia University, about to graduate and move into the real world and get herself a job, transition from internships to a real job, and I'm just so proud of her. Starting with her character, her acumen, but also just the fact that she's ambitious and she's not a thought. Like, my daughter's not a thought. Thank God, thank God. She's not on the pole. She's not even thinking about being on the pole. She doesn't even take those, like, nasty little thought pictures and Instagram posts. She don't do any of that. And I'm like, yes, I won. Oh, this girl is amazing right here. You guys know my experience as well. I have 3 other kids, a little gap between there, got married, and 3 little ones. And then Maraca is always my inspiration to be the greatest father I could be because, frankly, with Maraca, because of our distance at times, I was more of a baby daddy than I was a father. And that wasn't because of my efforts. That wasn't because of my intentions. It was just the logistics and reality. So Maraca always inspires me to be the best father I can be. And I love you, Monk, and I hope you're enjoying your day with your old ass. Okay, now let's talk about someone who's not that old, but boy, last year did he play like he was old, and that's Russell Wilson. You know, Russell Wilson is now in the news, and I mean, it just keeps pouring on and on for Russell Wilson. We're going to call it the no good year, right? That's what I saw in headlines, the no good year. And just in summation before I unpack this, Russell Wilson had it good in Seattle, but he wanted it better, so now, unfortunately, it's worse. That's what happens sometimes when you think the grass is greener. That's what happens sometimes when you say, hey, I'm not going to stick this out for whatever reason, and I'm going to chase this elsewhere. No guarantees that the other place is going to be a better situation for you. Let me read. I mean, actually go back to school and read some of these statements just because I don't want to misquote and I don't want to get anything out of context. Okay, Russell Wilson, 9-time Pro Bowler, duh. He went from Seattle to Denver. They were 5-12. And he was a large reason why they had 12 losses. Be real. Russell Wilson was not playing like the future Hall of Famer he is going to be. Right? So everyone laughing at him. He got a new contract before he even stepped on the field, $245 million. So they're stuck with him. Now, you thought that was bad. It gets worse. There was a report done by some reporters, 15 players included, coaches, staffers. So basically, they went everywhere and say, look, we want you to make some anonymous quotes, which I don't fully respect because if I'm going to say something about somebody, especially if I'm not going to say something flattering, names and numbers, right? That's how I like to get down. But these guys want to keep their jobs and protect themselves and have job security. I get it. But let's talk about what they were saying. They said that he tried to get Pete Carroll and the general manager, John Schneider, fired. All right, so then there was a battle between those guys and the staff at large. And then finally, he said he wanted Sean Payton to be his coach. That's what the reports are saying, right? So he gets traded after, I guess they catch wind of that, gets traded to Denver, goes to Denver, and not only is he landing in Denver and saying, hey, I'm your new sheriff in town. I'm the new franchise quarterback, which needs to be earned, but what his reputation was given to him. Then he starts making some interesting demands in Denver. He had his own office, which blurs the line between, dog, you on a team with us in the locker room, or are you upstairs like management over there making decisions? You got an office in the building? What you doing? So that's not good. That's obviously a mixed message to his teammates. But more importantly, on their days off, Russell Wilson will have the guys come in and watch film and have meetings. Wait a minute, dog. Days off, not extra time when we're there. No, on our Tuesday, Russell Wilson will bring the guys in. And there's nothing worse than guys feeling like they're doing extra work for worse results. When you end up 5-12 and I'm spending my off time in here, Ah, it ain't about working harder, Russell. It's about working smarter. And I'm sure there were a lot of guys who were hot 100 and discouraged in that moment, but couldn't say anything because it's Russell Wilson. Plus, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. We all know how this season played out now, looking back retroactively. But in the moment, you always holding your breath and holding out for hope that maybe things would turn around, that he would turn the corner and the team would turn the corner. So I understand in real time it was hard to make that ultimate decision. But I know what kind of teammate I was, and I know what kind of leader I was. Even if I wasn't playing the best, my voice still was going to be heard because I'm on the team contributing, right? Somehow, some way, I would have had to get through to Russell Wilson and say, hey, bro, what we doing right now, whatever you think this is, it's not working. Right? I understand perseverance. I understand we got to be resilient. But at the same time, we also got to be smart and adapt. Let's do something different. So I'm not going to put everything on Russell Wilson, but when you come in with your own quarterback coach, which is undermining Nathaniel Hackett, who's your first-year head coach, we got some problems because now we have common denominators, right? We have problems with the coaching staff and how the organization treated you in Seattle. And now those same problems already in year one have popped up in Denver. I don't like to be the guy that has to point out some of the issues with Russell Wilson because, frankly, he's the type of guy I would love my daughter to met. You know what I mean? Like, Russell Wilson's a great guy, a character. Y'all try to clown him because he's a square? Shoot, I want a square in this round-ass weird world. I need a square. Somebody who's going to be faithful, somebody who's going to be responsible, someone's going to do the job. But when it comes to football, personalities aside, big dog, it's time to get to getting, right? You only eat what you kill. And last year, Russell Wilson didn't kill much at all. And I think these Denver Broncos are looking at him like, look, no excuses this year. Sean Payton's in the building. Sean Payton's already stated to Russell Wilson that, hey, things going to look different in terms of who you have as a support system and who's allowed in the facility. So this is going to be interesting because I thought the tug of war was over for Russell Wilson in his career. He got free from Seattle and got exactly what he wanted. And now he has everything he wants, and it looks like Denver is not getting what they need, which is a franchise quarterback helping to lead them to victories. It's just crazy because all those Seattle cats, all the Legion of Boom, all those guys that we call misfits, warned us about Russell Wilson. And we were like, nah, y'all just jealous. Y'all just mad at him. Y'all just mad because he ain't like y'all. I think we may owe them an apology. This year will tell us if we do. Well, coming up on Never Shut Up, guess what we about to do? We about to talk about the NFL cutting season. Y'all know when it's cold outside, it's cuffing season. Well, in the off season, it's cutting seasons. Guys who get released, and what does that feel like? Unfortunately, I know that pain. That's next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Sipping on some. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley. Oh man, let's talk about cutting season. Guys getting released if you want to feel good and have some esteem about it. You know, like how they say flight attendants instead of airline stewardess. You remember those days? Or secretary, you used to say, now it's executive assistant. Well, now they say you get released. Well, when I played, your ass got cut. Let's talk about getting cut because I know that pain all too well. Let's first start off with this offseason. So far, some of the names that have been released, cut. Bobby Wagner, still a baller, still a beast. He's going to be fine. Robert Woods, interesting, but still a name. Taylor Lewan, remember him, the big old offensive tackle from Tennessee? Injuries and that one play or one game where he got, what was that? He got destroyed. I forgot who it was. But boy, they was on his head. Point being, those are some names out there who have now been cut. And what does it feel like to get cut? Because a lot of times we hear that on the shows and we watch the shows, we see it at the bottom ticker. We never go in depth about it. We just talk about what's the next move for them, where are they going to land, cap space, you know. We never talk about the emotional part. That's why I love doing this show. Well, let me give you a couple stories about how it feels to be released. All right, I played 10 years, obviously, for 4 teams. And I didn't get released from Buffalo. Yeah. Actually, Buffalo called me in on my contract year. It was like, we enjoy you, we love you, but we know that you have priced yourself out of this team. So go get your money, and you always got a home here, but we understand. And myself, along with 5 other players, left Buffalo and went to San Diego. Yes, San Diego became like Buffalo Bills West, including the general manager, the late, great John Butler, who I tremendously loved as a GM. Now, I didn't get released there, but in San Diego, oh, your boy got cut. Your boy got cut. Let me tell you how it happened. I was in my condo in Westwood chilling. I think I was by myself this time, which was rare, especially at that condo, because I had it going down. It was sick, right? It was like a 3-level, it was like a New York condo in LA. So people would come over. I had the Marcus from Boomerang Fish Tank built into the wall. Why? I just had it all plussed out. I actually had broke up with my ex, who was a great decorator, but she just dipped and left everything looking perfect. So now I'm single up in this beautifully remodeled looking condo from New York in LA. Oh, I was winning. But this morning, when I woke up this morning, oh, I lost. Let me tell you how. So it was like 8 in the morning. I always put my phone on silence. So, overnight, if you got an emergency, you got an emergency, not me. I don't know what happened to your ass to the morning. Trust me, that's just how it goes. I'm getting my sleep, my 3-4 hours. So anyway, I wake up that morning and I just turn on the TV mindlessly, at the same time grabbing my phone, noticing I got a gang of messages. I mean, I am winning right now. I'm in San Diego balling, Pro Bowler, all that. So I'm thinking it's the same old, same old. Like, damn, they thirsty. They can't even stay one night without your boy. Ha! But I was like, this is a lot. Like, I'm dating, but I ain't going in like that. This is a lot of messages. So, all right. So at the same time, I'm like going through the messages. I hear like a couple like, oh, man, they tripping. Oh, man, forget them fools. Oh, you going to get them back. And I'm like, I ain't heard a girl's voice yet. And why all my boys hitting me up talking about somebody tripping? Who tripping? They know I don't fight. So now I'm watching Sports Center. And, you know, they always got that bottom ticker moving. I actually watch that more than I do the actual commentators because that's where the information is, unbiased. I'm like, okay. And then I see breaking news. And you always say, oh, you sitting up for that, right? Breaking news. San Diego Chargers. Now, it should start hitting me right now. That's familiar to me. But I'm still just like, what happened in San Diego? Like, it's not my team. I'm the San Diego Chargers. What happened? Release. And then I'm like, oh, somebody got cut. And I'm like, oh, one of our boys got cut. In my head, I'm thinking, DE. You know, they don't put the whole thing. DE, defensive end. I'm like, wait a minute. That's my group. I'm like, oh, snap. Marcellus Wiley. And I swear I saw it, and I was like, damn, that's messed up. They cut Marcellus. Like, not even feeling it fully. And I was like, wait a minute. Oh, I got Pulp Fiction. Motherfuckers. You go cut me? They cut me. And I swear, that didn't hurt the most, that I was released. Because it got an inflated sense of ego. I think I'm the man. I know I'm going to land somewhere. I've never been cut before, so I'm going to be fine. It was the fact that they didn't tell me. They didn't call me. My agent didn't tell me. I just saw my coach, and he told me everything was great and fine. And that was the first time I got hit in the head with a brick from the politics of the NFL. And I was like, yo, at least tell your boy, not because I need it for my emotions, just to let me know that everything I invested in was real. And look, you can break my heart. It's all good. Long as you is sitting there as an adult telling me how it is. So I was just mad that it felt like a fake existence because y'all couldn't even break it down to me. Fast forward, I land on my feet, I go to Dallas. Well, I landed on something. I don't know if it was my feet because I was sorry as hell in Dallas, right? So this one I kind of felt coming, but I also talked to Bill Parcells. I talked to Jerry Jones. They were like, you're fine. But I was really upset, ego bruised from the San Diego experience and the fact that I didn't play in the right position in Dallas, right? And then they were switching their defense, so that was going to be more favorable for me. But I was pissed at Dallas, the defense, Mike Zimmer, and my boy Greg Ellis, my boy, because he got the position I wanted, and I wanted to play that. Long story short, my boy Leo Carson told me, he said, Wiley, shut up. Parcells told you, he told me, you fine, you're going to be back next year. We're going to 3-4. That's you. You play 3-4 better than anybody. You good, just chill. Take this L this year. And my ass got a sack in the Giants game, last game of the year against Eli Manning. Walked into that locker room, all I had to do was just say, yes, sir, no, sir, or I'm only here because I don't want to get fined. Marshawn Lynch, right? That's all I had to say. But my big mouth, never shut up ass went in there and lit up Bill Parcells, lit up Jerry Jones, lit up the entire Cowboys organization and defense, just because I wanted to save face. Well, they saved face too. They cut my ass, all right? So you move on from there. I didn't get cut in Jacksonville. I just retired. They actually wanted me to come back. Long story short, I was like, I'm too old and I'm too sorry. But I was going to come back for the 2007 season and play for the Giants, but I didn't. My knees were messed up. I said, it's enough is enough. P.S. That Giants team won the Super Bowl. My big mouth. Not only did I get cut once or twice because of that damn mouth, but I talked myself into not playing for a Super Bowl champion team. Boy, I'm ignorant. Well, coming up, let's talk about something that may be ignorant. A lot of the old school is starting to make decisions on what to call them, right? So Fat Joe came out and said, hey, man, don't call me Unc. Call me OG. Let's discuss what you call an OG or an Unc. Or does it even matter? That's next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Call me whatever. Just don't call me Cut. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy, Marcellus Wiley. Unc Marcellus Wiley. OG Marcellus Wiley. Man, what the hell is going on right now? All these names and titles that we are calling everybody out there. And I'm not talking in judgment because I grew up calling my neighbor across the street Auntie Brenda, and she had no relationship to us, nothing but just family across the street, right? I made that up. That wasn't really my auntie. You should see her. She was not my auntie. But I did that. You know, you call somebody Auntie Mama. We had some Auntie Mamas, like somebody so close to you, but they're a little older than your sister. Hey, Auntie Mama. Of course, you can go further and further. But Fat Joe came out and brought this home for me because he's like, yo, don't call me Unc. You know, call me OG. And I was like, oh, I wonder why he's feeling that way. Because Snoop, you call him Unc Snoop, right? He loves that. Shannon Sharp, you call him Unc, he loves that. And I think it's a form of reverence, obviously. It's just a lot of people out there saying, man, you've been through it. You know, you're older than me. You're wiser than me. You're more accomplished, established, whatever it may be. It's just like, all right, I'm a part of your extended family since you have inspired me, you have an impression on me, etc. So let me give you something, right? Instead of just saying, hey, the rapper Snoop, you say Unc Snoop, right? Instead of saying, hey, the tight end Shannon Sharp or commentator Shannon Sharp, you say Unc Shannon Sharp. So I think it's a compliment. But Fat Joe doesn't think it's a compliment. No, Fat Joe's like, nah, B. And I know why. Because there is a difference between Unc and OG if you're trying to stay cool, if you're trying to stay young, if you're trying to stay relevant. Like, if you thinking in any form of insecurity or like, yo, they may be thinking I'm older than I am or outdated or faded out, you do not want to be called Unc unless you are really secure in your status and your Q rating in this country, right? But if you're a guy that's like, well, I ain't put out no song in a few years that everyone popping to or whatever, and Fat Joe has heard that before. Remember he did the verses and people were like, man, them songs old or whatever. And he's like, man, what you talking about? I still got new bangers. But the point is he was in that conversation. So I think he's trying to slant this to where it's like, please do not age me any more than I already am, right? Because rap is a young man's sport, right? Just like sports, young men's sports. There's very few out there that can go and age gracefully and still keep their cool factor and keep their it factor. Snoop is one example, probably the greatest example. What is Snoop, like 53 or something like that? I don't know how old Snoop is. He older than my ass. But damn it, Snoop can go and sell a product or do a show in a kindergarten class, a grad school class. He can go to an old folks home, and all three of them gonna be rocking the same damn way. Snoop Dogg, you know, it's just crazy. Snoop got it like that. Shannon Sharp got it like that. First you look at Shannon Sharp, you like, I don't know how old he is, but he sure look young. That sucker, he got them muscles. He got them young man muscles, right? And on top of that, you know, the way he talks, the way he acts, he's just cool. So I wonder why Fat Joe is not embracing it like them. Well, probably because Fat Joe may not be seen and deemed as cool as them. Maybe he doesn't feel that way. Maybe he's just like, look, I just don't like how it sounds. I'm from the streets. OG is what you call somebody who graduates from the streets. You don't call him Unc. You call Unc the dude that you're trying to run from in the streets because he keep trying to tell the police that you're doing something. You call him Unc because he in your way when you trying to walk home and he keep giving you them big ass lessons and preaching to you. You're like, man, I don't want to hear that shit, Unc. Right? So maybe he's like traumatically stressed from Uncs in his life. But for me, call me whatever. You know, I'm old school like this. It doesn't matter what you call me. It's what I respond to, right? So I got a nickname, That Dude. And I had a nickname, Wild Style, before that. And then at the end of my career, they call me Reverend because, as you guys know, I love to drop some knowledge and then talk way too long. So they were like, Reverend. But the point is, I've heard 1,000 nicknames for me. Didn't give a damn. When I was little, I was Booger Boy. That turned into Punk. That turned into... They used to call me Punk. I was like, dog, my name ain't Punk. My name ain't Punk. Because my sister was so gangster that they had to sneak in on one on me, and they knew I wouldn't fight. So they're like, Punk, you a punk. So Darkness, they used to call me Darkness back in the day. Man, I heard them all, but it's not what you call me. It's what I respond to. And more importantly, it's how I define it if I'm really going to hear it. I don't have to take what you say literally. I can redefine it. Like I hear a lot of people saying that with the N-word. They try to redefine it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that works in that case because it's such a negative word. But hey, I hear a lot of people saying that they make it work for them. And a lot of people that I actually respect. So gotta have belief in that. But it just seemed funny to me that he's going so far as to say, make sure you keep me in this lane. Make sure you call me this. Make sure you look at me as this. And I know it's with intention, and I think it's in good spirit too. But I just thought that was interesting. What about you guys out there, huh? Like, do you give a damn what somebody is calling you? Like, obviously, we're not talking about extremes, like somebody's really just trying to denigrate you. But I'm just talking about like a nickname and somebody just trying to be funny with you. Somebody just trying to give you some props, give you big ups. Give a damn. Like now, y'all forgot my first nickname was Teddy Bear. And it's funny because when I'm out, if I hear Teddy Bear, that's family, right? If I hear Wild Style, that's young NFL, like the old school cats. If I hear That Dude, that's anybody from like the middle of my career on until this day. I go out to now, so funny with my son. Two things happens all the time when I'm out. People are like, that dude. And he was like, oh, God, they always call you That Dude. You're not That Dude, you're my dad. And I'm like, that's not the nickname. It's That Dude, not my dad. So I'll just laugh at him. He's 7. Leave him alone. But the funnier thing that happens is when people say Marcellus. And remember, he's my junior. So his name is Marcellus. And oh, my God, we went to our first training camp when he was like 3 or 4. And people was like, Marcellus. And you should have saw him do, he like, I was like, my boy, this is the first time being like popular is actually a bad thing in this moment. He's like, and then he finally just melted. He was like, Daddy, people just keep calling me, why? What'd I do? I'm actually, you didn't do anything. And last time they saw your daddy playing, I wasn't doing anything either, but they still got love for me. So I got respect in these streets. But call me what you want, man. That Dude seems like it's #1 on the charts. But if you want to say it's Unc, you want to say it's OG, whatever it is, I know it's me. Well, coming up on Never Shut Up, it's time to get into the full episode. It's time to go deep. Yes, you know what we about to talk about? Aunt Jemima. We're going to talk about some symbolic syrup. All of this noise about Aunt Jemima and all of the stuff that's been taken down because of our past and our bad history. Was it worth it? Did it have an effect? What do you guys think? That's coming up on a full episode of Never Shut Up on Brinks TV. See you next week, Reach TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. Full episode time, so it's time to go even deeper. And let's talk about Ben Stein, who made some waves this week. He was a topic of discussion because he basically went in his kitchen, grabbed a Aunt Jemima maple syrup bottle, and said how much he missed seeing Aunt Jemima actually on the bottle. We all know in 2021, it was rebranded and called the Pearl Milling Company. Oh, I'm glad I don't eat breakfast because I ain't even really noticed this. I didn't know it was called Pearl Milling Company. I just thought they took Big Mama off, Big Aunt Jemima off, and that was it, right? But they went all the way with it. So Ben Stein brought notice to this, and then a lot of people had different reactions, right? He said that they changed it because of America's inherent racism and America's corporate culture. Okay, I get it. But now I know why they changed it, because the imagery, right? And that imagery is reminiscent of some dark times, some bad times, some evil times, right? But to what avail? When you change those images, you haven't changed the history. You haven't changed those experiences. You haven't changed our memory. But now you have changed the imagery. Was it worth it? What's the effect of it? Because to me, it almost seems like you do something like that if you're trying to change the collective esteem of a group. In this case, African Americans, Black Americans, right? I wonder, does it have an effect at large to the community? Or is it like, yeah, we could have done with it and we could have done without it? It doesn't matter, because the images that you're trying to change, I'd rather you change the present and future ones than worrying about the past ones, because we already know that's been done. When you get a maple syrup bottle that you've known forever had Aunt Jemima on there and what it represented, and now you get the same one because the color scheme's the same, you know it's Aunt Jemima, but it's Pearl Milling Company. Does it have an effect on you? Is it positive, or is it just the power that you had to make a change? Regardless of if that change really has a great effect, it's just the fact that you could flex. You could make a big corporate change. I'm asking a lot of questions because, frankly, none of that stuff gets to me in terms of changing imagery, changing the past, changing how things look, just so you can have a different present or future. Give you a loose example, and then we're going to bring it back home. Who hasn't been in this situation? You get in a new relationship, right? And the person you're with now goes over to your house and checks out, see, I'm old school, your photo album, right? You remember your photo albums? Golly, with the old plastic, you got to lift it off, pictures under there stuck. Oh, back in the days. Or pictures up. And your next, or the person you're dating, wants you to kind of remove the images of your ex. And I was always the one pushed back, like, what does that matter? Well, I mean, if you with me, why you got to stare at them and look at them? I was like, because they are a part of me, and that's how I got to you. And even if you don't like it, or even if we had bad times or whatever it may be, it's still a part of the aggregate process that led me to be me in fullness. So I bring that in parallel to this. Like, we can't erase slavery. We can't erase the images that came from slavery. We don't always have to go back and be haunted by it. We don't always have to go back and reminisce in it and all these countless slave movies that it seems like come out every week. But at the same time, we don't have to get the eraser out or the white out and try to remove those or change what really happened from that era. Or do we? It's interesting because my friends are split on this. You know, I love to talk it deep, even with my friends. And some of them say yes, because you want the next generation to not even have to have that negotiation of their past. It's an interesting point. But I'm from the school where I can use something troubling like that. I can use something disparaging like that and still use it as fuel and motivation because it's the knowledge that all I am taking from it. I'm not taking the sentiments. I'm not sitting there taking and extracting the negative and negativity that comes from it. I'm saying that was a part of our journey as a group, as a country, as an ethnicity, as a race, right? And you can't cut that part off. You can't ignore that part. But do you have to always continue to reinforce it? That's why I'm really torn on this one. Me personally, I'm not torn. I don't give a damn. I know how I believe in myself, my group, my people, etc. But I know if it has a greater effect on someone else, and if I'm sitting here saying I'm unfazed, I will give in to those requests, to those demands. But we have to understand two things. Was and is, they're two different things. What was and what is, two different things, two different worlds, correct? Two different times. So let's not always use what was as something that's going to justify what we're going to change about what is right now. You don't need to, but if you feel like you do for your self-esteem or for the perception of you and your group, I am here to listen to you. I will be reading those comments, but it's just a lot of energy devoted to something that already occurred. You can never uproot fully, right? Instead of putting that energy into this moment where your feet are right now or where you're journeying next. So I look at it in that totality, and my summation is kind of what Ben Stein, like, where ain't your mama at? Like, I don't eat breakfast. I intermittent fasting. Why? Because I eat so bad for lunch and dinner, I got to skip one of them meals. Calories in, calories out. That would just be too many. Y'all think I'm big right now. Woo, I'll be fat boy if I did that. But if I did, I don't know if it would affect my breakfast to see Aunt Jemima. It didn't affect my breakfasts when I was growing up all those times and I saw her there. I'm really curious about how this has affected Black people as a whole or any individual Black person. So you know me, I'm going to be diving into those comments today to check out what you guys see. But if you like Ben Stein, you like me, and you like a lot of other Black people that I saw in the comments, man, y'all putting way too much syrup on those pancakes. All right, you know how we end this show every day. We end it with a Wileyism. All right, here you go. Your ears are your biggest cheerleaders, pom-poms. I say it again. Your ears are your biggest cheerleaders, pom-poms. Y'all know what that means. I always tell kids especially, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to pump yourself up. And you have to stay between your ears and always root for yourself. A lot of times in this world, it's trying to beat you up. A lot of the times in this world, it will present adversity. And you need your cheerleaders to grab those ears and say, listen to me. You got this. You are amazing. You will win. And I've always been that way. I've always been an eternal optimist. And more than that, I've always pumped myself up because I learned early the difference or what's common about being selfish and selfless is self. Like people want to discourage you from thinking about yourself, for really tuning into your own channel, right? Selfish, selfless, one thing in common, self. You got to take care of yourself. You got to be your biggest cheerleader. You got to grab those ears and pom-poms and say, let's go Wiley. You have to do that. If not, this world's going to win. This world's going to beat your ass. It's going to beat you up. And I've always been a guy that frankly just went inside before I went outside. You know, if I wanted something, I always had to go in here to go get it. I didn't ever start outside because I knew that was short-lived. I knew that wouldn't give me the proper motivation. You know, I want that car. No, I need to work hard. And then if I work hard, not only will I get that car, I'll get stuff that I don't even think I can get. So you got to always be your own biggest cheerleader inside your head. Remember the Wileyism. Your ears are your biggest cheerleaders, pom-poms. Give yourself some love. Start your day off pumping yourself up. When people out there want to beat you down, pump yourself up even more. I ended with this story because I should tell all the cheerleaders on the teams I play for, y'all got it backwards. I was like, why y'all cheer after we score touchdowns and first downs? We know we did well. We know we did good. We don't need to hear it then. Y'all are also getting drowned out with everybody else that's yelling for us when we're doing well. It's when we're not doing well, when we fumble the ball away, when they scored on us. Really, logically, that's when you need cheerleaders, because you're starting to go down in terms of your emotional state. You're starting to feel down. You need somebody to pump you up. Thought the role of a cheerleader was to pump us up. Well, when we're already on 10, not much pumping you can do. But when we're starting to go down that hill, that's when we need to hear the loudest roars. I tell you guys the same thing in your life. Whenever you start feeling like you're on a roller coaster, you're going downhill, make sure your cheerleaders are their loudest. Your ears are your biggest cheerleaders, pom-poms. Well, that'll do it for this week and this Friday's episode of Never Shut Up. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope you guys watch every single damn segment I did all week, because it's been amazing. And I also wish y'all go get y'all some merchandise. Log on to Brinks TV, sign up, get your free account, and let's just keep sharing. Let's learn and unlearn together. Have a great weekend, y'all. Talk to you next week.